So towards the end of the British BBC documentary, it's basically very propagandist. Yes, a celebration of when Nkrumah was overthrown. Uh, you find reference such as when he returned to Ghana in 1947, he had a cardboard suitcase. By the time he was overthrown, he was a millionaire. You know, pure lies. But a lot of useful information in the documentary. I recommend it. It's very worth watching. And of course, the book, Neocolonialism, The Last Stage of Imperialism. Before I sign off from episode number 15, let me just read maybe very short passages from the introduction of the book. The essence of neocolonialism is that the state which is subject to it is, in theory, independent and has all the outward trappings of international sovereignty. In reality, its economic system, and thus its political policy, is directed from outside. And we can relate this to many conditions that prevail in most African countries today. The evil of neocolonialism is that it prevents the formation of those large units which would make impossible limited war. To give one example, if Africa was united, no major power bloc would attempt to subdue it by limited war, because from the very nature of limited war, what can be achieved by it is itself limited. It is only where small states exist that it is possible, by landing a few thousand Marines or by financing a mercenary force, to secure a decisive result. The most recent example in Africa being the NATO war on Libya and the destruction of Libya and the murder of Muammar Gaddafi. And look at where Libya is today. The NATO version of democracy in Africa. Neocolonialism is also the worst form of imperialism. For those who practice it, it means power without responsibility. And for those who suffer from it, it means exploitation without redress. In the days of old-fashioned colonialism, the imperial power had at least to explain and justify at home the actions it was taking abroad. In the colony, those who served the ruling imperial power could at least look to its protection against any violent move by their opponents. With neocolonialism, neither is the case. Maybe I can read from one more part, and then of course you have to get your own copy of the book. All right, there we go. Neocolonialism is based upon the principle of breaking up former large united colonial territories into a number of small non-viable states, which are incapable of independent development and must rely upon the former imperial power for defense and even internal security. Their economic and financial systems are linked, as in colonial days, with those of the former colonial ruler. Applies to most African countries, particularly the former French colonies in West Africa, although we are seeing signs of change. So this brings us to the end of episode number 15. In the next episode, I will discuss Malcolm X and his engagement with Africa. Thank you, comrades, friends, compatriots. Stay well. See you next week.